Sandeep, welcome to the 100x show.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me here. Excited for and looking forward to this chat.
So Sandeep, since you last came, there has been a lot of developments, both on the corporate side as well as on the product stack side. There has been a lot of development on the ZK technologies and data availability solution. So I just wanted to discuss that with you, decipher that with you on how the stack looks like. So let me just quickly share my screen, and yeah. So can you see the product stack over here? So just wanted to discuss some of the ZK rollup solutions, and also decipher the data availability solution and Polygon Edge with you.
Yeah. So basically, see, first let's understand what is the perspective of this. This spectrum. This what we are showing is actually a spectrum. Okay. And on the left side, you see no shared security. And on the right side, you see high shared security. That means highly secured from Ethereum. Okay. Highly secured with Ethereum, actually. So, Polygon is a very unopinionated Ethereum scaling platform, which believes that there are multiple ways how you can scale Ethereum, right? So Ethereum also scales when you have standalone chains which connect back into Ethereum. Their tokens come back into Ethereum ecosystem. Their users use Ethereum. They have an Ethereum address and all that, right? So that also adds to the network effects of Ethereum. And on the right extreme, where this is fully secured layer 2, that means everything is being pushed back onto Ethereum. The proof, the security, and everything is coming from Ethereum. Which adds to a lot of value to Ethereum, obviously, and hence it helps in scaling Ethereum. So we want to be present across the stack. For example, Polygon POS, which is shown in the middle, is actually somewhere in the in the middle, in the sense that it is completely dependent on Ethereum. It cannot exist without Ethereum. But it is also not like fully secured from Ethereum. It does a checkpointing process into Ethereum where everything goes on Ethereum main chain as a proof, but it's not it's not fully secured from Ethereum. But whereas the ZK rollups, which you actually specifically asked, ZK rollups are going to be full-blown layer 2s, which publish their proofs and derive the security from Ethereum, right? So and there also in the ZK rollups, we are doing multiple different approaches. As I said, that Polygon is a very unopinionated platform. So we are not saying that, okay, Polygon Hermes, which will be probably the only solution in the globally, which has a ZK EVM, like full blown ZK EVM, or whether that will win, or Polygon Zero and Polygon Maiden, which have a transpiled solution, which transpile the solidity into the this local VM solution, and then it runs. Okay, and then Polygon Nightfall is a purely enterprise blockchain effort. So that is the reason why we have 4 different efforts, and each of them have a different horizon also. Like, for example, Hermes, we believe that both in the short term, middle term, and long term, it will be successful. But Polygon Zero is more of a long term play for us. Polygon Zero and Maiden both, where people will be able to execute complicated and highly complex transactions off chain, and still be able to prove them on chain on Ethereum. Now, why? So for any rollup, there are 2 important things. One is a data availability, and second thing is the cryptographic proof or dispute resolution, right? So when there is something called a rollup, when a particular solution is called a rollup, that solution actually has to publish both the proof, the dispute resolution, as well as the data back on Ethereum, both the things. But the data of the transactions on Ethereum, the Ethereum can become extremely costly in the congestion times. So the solutions also will have high cost transactions. And this is what we are seeing with optimistic rollups in Arbitrum and Optimism. The transaction fees there is already fairly high, compared to the Ethereum transactions or compared to the Polygon peers. So the other kind of solution is called Validiums. And in Validium, what we can do is you can publish the data back, you can publish the proof back on Ethereum, but you can take the data somewhere else. You can put the data somewhere else. Why? Because in Validium solutions, you are using a ZK zero knowledge proof with which you can be 100% sure.
So I wanted to double tap on few things, right? So L2 rollups. How would you say you're different from some of the competitors, and how do you have a moat? So let's say Stockware and Metal Labs. How would you differentiate yourself from them? And with regards to Polygon Avail, how would you say you're different from Celestia? I was
just finishing up with that only. That there is a solution called Validium where you have proof going back on Ethereum, but the data can live somewhere else, right? In a low cost solution. And that is exactly what is Polygon Avail. So when we believe that Validiums are the end goal and game, basically, where these solutions will put data somewhere else, that is data they will put on Polygon Avail chain, and the proof will be put back on Ethereum. That is Validium, and that's why we are doing the Polygon Avail solution. Now your next question, that how are we different from our other competitors, especially on the ZK rollup side, like Matter Labs and Starkware, right? So first I will take Matter Labs. So Matter Labs has not, they've been saying that their solution is coming out soon, but the solution is not out there yet. But however, our Polygon Hermes is fairly different solution than them. But because what they are doing is they are a transpiled solution, and Starkware also do a transpiled solution. What they do is they take the Ethereum code, Solidity code, they convert or transpile it into an intermediate language, which their virtual machine understands. Okay, so there is a transpiling step in between, and transpiling, MatterLab is trying to do transpiling from Solidity, whereas Starkware, they have a separate language called Cairo. Only problem with Starkware is that Cairo language is very hard to build. It's actually built for superlative, superstar engineers and things like that. It's very hard, and the resources are also very costly and all that. So for mass audience, it's difficult. They are also trying to work from a solution where EVM gets compiled into their Cairo code, and then Cairo runs on Starkware. But this transpiling step involves a lot of complexity. The same case is being done by Matter Labs also. However, Starkware and Matter Lab are very different, because Starkware has a solution out there in the market for last 1.5 years, doing good, doing solution like DYDX and all that, whereas Matter Labs has not been able to produce a solution out there in the market yet. Even a testnet and all that previously that they have proved or they have published, the prover and all those things are missing, because it's also closed source. Compared to Polygon, right? First of all, that's why, because Matter Lab solution is not out there, so I'm not comparing with this one, but Starkware and Polygon I'm comparing. So the ZK EVM which Polygon Hermes is doing, and which is very close to production, we expect to go in the testnet stage very soon, in a matter of, in fact, a few weeks. So that solution is actually, you take Solidity code, the bytecode of it, and you directly run it onto the EVM. So we believe that due to there is a transpiling step is not involved, the compatibility will be much higher, much better, right? And that is our solution for the current this thing. So that's where we believe that we are a superior solution compared to Starkware also, because our compatibility for the Solidity developers will be better. Compared to our Polygon Zero solution, Polygon Zero is a transpiled solution just like Starkware. But the way Polygon Zero has done it, because they have a recursive proof methodology, right? Which we also published, Plonky 2. Plonky 2 is the world's fastest library in those recursive proofs. It is like, when at the time of publishing, it was 100x faster than anything else. So we believe that when the Polygon Zero comes out, it will have a much more faster as well as efficient solution also compared to Starkware, because of our innovations that have been done in Plonky 2. And these innovations, because these teams are interacting with each other, so Polygon Hermes has also picked up a few optimizations, and their solution also has significantly improved in performance in the last few days.
You did highlight the data availability solution. So one competitor I see out there at the moment, at least via Twitter, is Celestia. So how would you say Polygon Avail is different or perhaps superior to Celestia with regards to data availability?
Correct. So Celestia, again, just like Starkware, Celestia team is also an amazing team, and they've been at it for quite some time. The thing that I think we have been researching on data availability for quite some time, but I think we initiated or we started a product only, I think, after 6 or 10 months, or maybe after 1 year of Celestia being started. The reason for that is that there was a very big breakthrough in the cryptography industry, which is called KATE commitments or KATE commitments, KATE commitments, the polynomial commitments, which are very, very important for the data availability solutions. And we believe, and Celestia was already, because they've been building for quite some time, they are already far ahead in their approach, the approach that they are following. Whereas the approach that we have with the KATE commitments right now, we believe that, because obviously KATE commitments is a very big breakthrough. I think even Ethereum 2.0 and all that is using it. So that is like, we have kind of what you say in the world, second mover advantage. Because when you are moving second, you can learn from the mistakes of the first one, and you can also get from the market what is latest available, right? So that is what we feel that Polygon Avail can be superior. And second thing is also, I believe that we are slightly ahead in our development cycle also. Already we are going in on testnet, in fact, again, in a matter of 5-10 days, and we should be there on the mainnet also in much faster time compared to Celestia. But actually, I'm not tracking Celestia's roadmap when they are going to launch, but I believe that we'll be earlier to market than them. Only benefit being they are definitely a great team, but we have these tools which they were not available to them when they started.
So talking about the left-hand side of the segment, right, Polygon Edge, can you tell us a little bit about that and perhaps Polygon Supernets? Yes.
So basically, the Polygon Supernet, thesis is that if anybody is a computer engineer here, you would know that in the early 2000s, when you were a small startup, you used to deploy on a shared server, right? Your website was on a shared server, and then the shared server had 10 different websites. And if one of the websites blew up in terms of its traffic, the other websites will also crash because it's a shared server, right? Imagine like there is a shared road and everybody is driving on the same road. Obviously, there is issues there will be traffic issues over there. This is exactly what happens with the public chains right now, right? All the public chains, be it Ethereum, Polygon, POS, and all that, these are public chains, and there the capacity is shared. So if there was a big game, for example, Bored Apes other side launch was there, the whole Ethereum got choked because everybody was trying to do the transactions on the same time. So that is exactly what is there for the dedicated versus shared chain. So just like in the Web2 world, the dedicated servers came in and then cloud came in, where you can have your virtualized server and you can have a dedicated server for your own. It's exactly the same, wherein Polygon Edge provides you a framework where you can start your own chain, right? And these supernets are nothing but, like, when you use Polygon Edge and create a network, it's called supernet, and it's completely dedicated to your application. So we have already announced 6 different applications who are doing Polygon Supernets, and these will be chains dedicated to them only. Whereas in most of the solutions, although there's a feature, but most of the teams are choosing to have MATIC as the staking token over there. That's how it adds value to the MATIC token. Also, MATIC will still remain the staking token, and they will be a transaction token or transaction gas fees and all that, and app level value approval goes to the application. But the network is run by MATIC stakers. Why? Because it is much more secure. Because when you have $4 billion of MATIC staked on the Polygon network, and many of those validators are validating on those chains, you can have that kind of shared security between these networks. So that's, yeah.
So that sounds a bit like Avalanche subnets or Polkadot parachain. So the way I kind of envision MATIC is you guys are trying to capture everything like data availability, L2s, as well as solutions similar to that.
The only difference I think with Polkadot or Avalanche is that we are very bullish on Ethereum, and that's why we are not creating a separate ecosystem. Right? We believe that there will be application-specific chains, but they will be connecting back into a global, highly decentralized layer, which is Ethereum. Right? With Avalanche and Polkadot, the way they have been built, like parachain auctions and all that, we know how difficult it is for any team to kind of initiate the chain and all that. With Avalanche also, we know that those it's very hard to kind of create Avalanche subnets, because you need to also stake. Your validators also need to be validators on Avalanche main chain, right? And then they need to stake some Avalanche also and things like that. Whereas when you are doing on Ethereum, you just have whether it's MATIC staked or your token stake, just create the chain and connect it back to Ethereum. And then retrospectively, the biggest power with Supernet is retrospectively you can plug into a roll-up solution and you just add a prover, and you become a zero knowledge proof. Layer 2 basically.
So your thesis is basically, let's say if you reduce the barriers of entry, kind of reduce the barrier, the network effect will more than compensate for the value accrual of the tokens.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And network effect not only with barrier to entry, but also this network is highly connected to Ethereum. And if you convert it into a layer 2, then you are directly connected into this mainstream value transfer layer, which is Ethereum. And that is the main thesis over there. Like there is a mainstream decentralized chain which gives you security, and the main avenue, it's kind of the Manhattan or the New York City of the global this thing, and then everybody connects back. You just have a better connectivity and security derived from there.
Yeah. So how will MATIC transition, like MATIC token transition from the moment from POS to basically all of this product? Will there be a redesign? How will it be integrated? Can you shed some light on that?
In a simple way, Polygon token, MATIC token will be the staking token of all these chains. Whichever chains has staking, unless and until it's a dedicated supernet and they want to have their own token, all of these chains, wherever the value accrual goes, it will all go into MATIC token only, right? Whether it's a prover and we are creating a prover chain, or whether it's a marketplace of validators who are choosing on which chain to validate or not, everywhere only MATIC token has to get the value accrual. In terms of the redesign, because previously we were a single chain solution, now we are becoming a multi-chain solution, there will need to be some redesigning into it, the staking rewards and all that. That will be directly, there will be a redesign, and then if that happens, it will be a MATIC upgrade instead of, there will never be a, two tokens in the MATIC ecosystem. It will be MATIC upgrading into the new design, token design, if that happens.
So moving away from infrastructure, I wanted to get more into the weeds of the application side. I've seen lately you guys have partnered up with a lot of different Web2 applications. So for example, you guys have partnered up with Meta, and Instagram will be adding NFTs. So can you tell our audience how that will look like? And then after that, we can discuss some other applications as well.
Yes. So basically, the main thing that you see is right now the global brands. And Mehdi, you are also very active. You must be seeing that everybody is right now moving to Polygon, from Adidas, Prada to a Dolce Gabbana to various different brands. All these metaverses, if you see, right? Or there's we talk about Decentraland, Sandbox, all that. Where are they? Where do they exist? Which chain they are based on? They are based on Polygon. Everyone is moving to Polygon, and I think the bigger players like Instagram and many others like eBay and Stripe, they all see this network effects of Ethereum coming onto Polygon, right? So all of them, and with scalability, so all of them are launching on Polygon. And then with Meta, for example, how it is going to look like is, I think you can already see it on Instagram. You can go and below that, you used to have 3 different sections. Now you have a 4th section, which is the digital collectible. And if you own an NFT on Polygon or on Ethereum, you can connect to that, right? And eventually we hope that Meta will also allow creators like yourself, the content creators who are creating for the community, you would be able to mint your own stuff. But when that comes and all that, that only Meta team knows. We don't have much information. Obviously it's very confidential, they keep it very confidential, but we believe that most of that minting should also come into the Ethereum ecosystem only, because that's where the users are.
Again, not financial advice, but hypothetically, just dreaming at the moment, 5 years ahead, do you kind of see e-commerce and housing and some of the other digital assets kind of also being represented as NFTs in some of these platforms, such as Instagram and perhaps other platforms, and them leveraging public blockchains?
Yeah, I mean, see, basic thing is what blockchain is providing you is actually the first time you have in the history, apart from holding the cash or holding your the store of value, whether it's cash or whether it's gold and all that, or land, apart from you holding yourself, this is the first time where an average individual without an army to defend this thing, he can use simple cryptography to have native ownership of something, especially on the internet. This is the first time that has happened. So I see blockchains as nothing but a new way of establishing ownership, in better words, in new ways of establishing property rights. Blockchain is nothing but giving you property rights in the digital world. And when you have that, then obviously whatever property rights you have in the digital world, like for example, today your home registration is also, after you do all the processing and all that, your registration is in a digital form, somewhere a digital certificate where you can go and download and all that, right? It can simply be given to you as a NFT also. However, we should also see that in this world there are two kinds of assets. There are bearer assets and there are registered assets, right? Bearer asset is what you hold. For example, any USDT, BTC you hold, you are the bearer of that, right? And any stuff you own, like for example, chairs in your house and all that, you just own them. If somebody takes them and you are not able to prove that it's yours, you can't, whoever has it, he owns it. Cash is also like that. Whereas the registered asset, somebody is registering it for you. For example, your house is registered for you by a registered authority, right? And you can prove. Obviously, these proving things and doing those transfers and all that much easier. But you will have to bring these registrars and the end user together, because it's a registered asset. It's not like, I give you your house as an NFT, and then you lose your keys and your house goes. Doesn't work like that. It doesn't seem practical. So it will be like a registrar will be there, you will be there, you can initiate a transfer of this, but you have to go to the registrar. Registrar will approve that everything is fine, you're actually selling it, you're receiving money in with of this, and then they also sign. So it will be kind of dual sign things. But I definitely see all of this, like whether it's stock ownerships, whether it's your items you own in the real world, or it is the houses or estate or whatever you own, it's going to go digital, and it's going to be on blockchains.
Yeah, that's very fascinating, and it was a very good mental model presented by you, Sandeep. So I'm going to share my screen again. I just wanted to explore the ecosystem, Polygon ecosystem. I know you're also very active when it comes to angel investing. So just wanted to take your views on some of the projects you're excited about within the ecosystem, perhaps by category. I know you don't want to differentiate, but perhaps some of the innovative projects that you feel can be game changing across different categories. So let's just start with NFT and gaming for now.
Yeah. So, NFT and gaming, I am, for example, I am very interested and bullish on Horizon games, which are which have the game called Skyweaver. They are pretty good. I am very bullish on Aave Gotchi team. They are kind of relentless builders. They keep building and stuff. And there are multiple, like I also see a lot of teams coming out of India also who are doing pretty good stuff. YGG, because Gabby I know and all that in the gaming side. I think I can I'm very bullish on them, that they could be one of those people who would actually make it very big. So there are multiple such games like that, like Neon District I've been very bullish on for quite some time. The recent games that are coming up, like Laguna Games, is pretty big. On the NFT side, although it's not gaming, but eDAO is also pretty big, who are doing some good stuff. So these are some of the teams. But yeah, like I'm mostly anybody who's building on Polygon, I am there to support them.
Yes. How about some of the DeFi projects and infrastructure, like middleware, Web3 infrastructure projects that perhaps you think are game changing?
So the infrastructure, I think that Alchemy continues to dominate that space. Infura, these are the big players, right? They are doing pretty well. Apart from that, on the infrastructure side, I mean, these people only, like Alchemy, Infura, MetaMask, and on the wallet side, I think Phantom Wallet generally on the Solana space has been doing pretty well. I feel that Horizon Games Sequence Wallet is also going to be pretty good. On the DeFi side, I am generally more interested in blue chips like Aave. I feel that now they are trying to bring in a social summer also, and with the Lens protocol and everything. So they are trying to expand the utility. They have a dedicated founder and a team who's constantly pushing to do the stuff. So I generally am fairly bullish on Aave. Uniswap again is my is one of my favorite. I think they have a very one of the pioneering teams in the space, and they will keep moving and will figure out some value accrual mechanisms also for them. So these would be some of the ones. And then in our ecosystem also, like QuickSwap has been leading for quite some time, and they are one of the biggest platforms. And I keep, I know that their team is trying to work on various different things to do it, and then keep growing the value for QuickSwap. Similarly, there are new solutions coming in, like which I know of, like Ovix protocol, who are doing something. Olive DAO is doing something like a liquidity as a service kind of protocol. So these are the ones that come to mind.
Yep, thanks for sharing. That's an extensive level of alpha right there. Again, not financial advice. So Sandeep, now I want to segue into generic questions regarding the blockchain ecosystem in itself, moving slightly away from Polygon. So how do you kind of see the space evolving, let's say modular blockchain versus monolithic blockchain? So with Ethereum roadmap, you have rollups, you perhaps will have tank sharding, so on and so forth. When I started exploring that, I feel like even though it enhances scalability, but I had slight concerns on composability side of things. So how do you kind of see that debate from that angle?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel, Polygon is actually directly sort of, following the thesis of the modular blockchains, right? So the Polygon Edge framework is actually focusing on that only. We believe that if Web3 has to achieve the internet level scale, right, then it will need to have these modular kind of structures. Otherwise, that scaling on a monolithic chain is not possible. And I think some of these monolithic chains which are out there, and we are seeing the big players, without naming the names, some layer ones and all that, who are experiencing downtimes and all that. It also proves the decentralization trilemma, which is basically out of scalability, security, and decentralization. You can only choose two. If you try to scale on layer one, then either you will lose big time on decentralization, or you will be less secured and everything, right? And liveliness is also an issue. So I think right now that's what we are seeing, and we are very bullish on the modular blockchain thesis, and that's where we are working off. Like if you see, Polygon Avail is data availability. These ZK rollups, eventually these clients are going to be the execution layer, data going to data availability, and approver proving back to Ethereum, everything, right? So that's the thesis where we are working on, and we are fully bullish on that.
So eventually, do you kind of see Ethereum becoming the settlement layer of majority of the blockchain, or do you kind of see, okay, Ethereum becoming the settlement layer, but there'll be other blockchains outside of Ethereum perhaps surviving as monolithic because of the composability features, or you're most likely just seeing majority of the activity happen?
I think, like, I mean, I am of the opinion that the layer one is a decentralization game, and it's very hard. Especially a layer one will not only be decentralized, but it will also, the native asset which is guarding that particular chain will also become stronger and stronger and start acquiring properties of hard money, right? And when that happens, generally, my intuition, looking at the history of humankind and all that, generally, globally, there has not been a case where multiple big currencies exist, right? There have always been a case where one particular currency, because it's obviously good for user experience and everything, right? Or usage and everything. So generally only one currency exists globally, as the strong and hard money and all that. Be it today, it's the dollar. Before, it used to be the British pound, gold, like even salt. That's why we call it salary, right? So all of those things, point to me that if, let's say, a centralized or kind of a highly decentralized layer, emerges like Ethereum has emerged, it will have a strong native asset guarding its security, and which will start acquiring strong money, and that money, generally, you will have one strong money globally. So that's why my thesis is that in the long run, maybe 10 years, 15 years, it's not even a case where Ethereum versus other layer one solutions. It's actually even Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and I believe that Ethereum will emerge as the winner over there, because at the end, when people will realize that Ethereum has same deflationary supply, which is the only value prop that BTC right now today has, right? So low circulation supply or deflationary supply, then Ethereum also has a yield, because you can stake this Ethereum and earn the yield in terms of the transaction fees. That is also not possible with Ethereum. And third, the Ethereum has an actual use, which is basically Ethereum. This is a global computer, settlement computer, and to use that, you need to pay in Ethereum. So Ethereum has all three of those properties, which Bitcoin doesn't have. Bitcoin only has one thing, which is a stable supply, right? So sooner or later, more people will realize that actually ETH as a token actually has all those properties of Ethereum, of Bitcoin, and even better, right? So the other things also, like Warren Buffett and all that, have bashed Bitcoin for that. So, coming back to your question directly, that I feel that, layer one is a last man standing game. There will not be multiple layer ones. Forget about other projects competing with Ethereum. It will be Ethereum versus Bitcoin also showdown, and where Ethereum will emerge. So layer one, there will be one. On the layer two, you will have multiple solutions. I believe that you will have multiple blockchains, and I fully agree with you. There will be some blockchains which will be there and which will exist for composability, but they will be slightly costly, and there will be app specific chains. Both things are important, because if you remove the composability out of blockchains, then blockchains start giving you less value. Only decentralization can be ensured over there. But once you have composability, it's much better. So with this interoperability technology, as well as, like, I see as this ecosystem, that Ethereum as the base layer, settlement layer, hundreds of such chains. Out of them, few chains becomes hubs, right? Which become the value transfer layers, and exchange and things like that have high composability, but then large number of applications also running in the in the sort of dedicated.
Yeah, so we touched upon Ethereum becoming a hard money. Like, me coming from a traditional finance background, like, one of the philosophical questions and one of the mental models I'm trying to kind of go with is, like, how do you kind of see the value accrual of smart contracts blockchain? Like, is it like more like equity, more like commodity, more like currency, or is it like a hybrid of all of them? So, for example, like one thing I was thinking, like, if it's not equity, more like commodity, then the end beneficiary will be users, because everything will be forked away and there will be perfect competition and so on and so forth. So how do you kind of see that? Like, do you just classify smart contract blockchain as just the value accrual is just like similar to currencies, or hybrid of all of these instruments? Like, how do you kind of see that?
I think that this is a separate class. it has the properties of kind of an investment asset also. It has properties of a commodity. It has land like commodity, this thing also, because it can actually give yield something. And see, that's the main thing, that this is the first time that you have a technology which provides programmability to money. This is programmable money, right? Like stocks, you can't do this. Like banks do this. Like mutual fund, for example, is what, you have done some programming on basket of some assets, and then you can buy mutual assets and mutual fund, and then somebody can do it. But here, because you have programmability, you can create an on-chain mutual fund, right? If the balancing and everything is, liquidity is enough, liquidity is there, and it's going to happen. There is no way, right? Same case with the land, right? You can represent them as NFTs or things like that, and then they can be mortgaged, or tons of different things can be done. The sky is the limit on that. So the core funda for me is, that's why it's a separate class. This is a programmable financial class, right? Financial asset class. It's a different class, right? And it has qualities of commodity. It has qualities of a simple as a investment. It has quality of land and labor also, some places, right? Because you can delegate your NFT, and then like a guild, in a guild, and then somebody else can make money from you renting. So various different kinds of possibilities are there. So I would call it as a financial, like a third or different kind of financial asset which has programmability features.
So Sandeep, I'm cognizant of your time. So just to conclude, like, what are your thoughts on current market crash? How do you think Polygon will take advantage of this, and perhaps any message for our audience amidst this current volatility?
Yeah. So see, I am no financial advisor, but I do keep an eye on markets, and I understand some of the things. So my thesis is this, that right now, the biggest problem with the industry is the uncertainty with the Fed. We don't know how much rates are going to be increased, how much liquidity is going to be taken out, and how the inflation numbers are going to behave. I think this 10th of June inflation numbers are also very critical. And if, let's say, inflation shows signs of cooling down, and we receive lesser than 8 inflation numbers, maybe hopefully something in 7 numbers, and you can see markets rally and start feeling more confident, because then they think that Fed will not increase the rate that much. I feel somehow, although it's difficult for Fed also, otherwise they would have done that if they provide a certainty that, okay, guys, we are going to increase it to 3%, 4%, right? This is our target range, and this we will reach here no matter what. So everybody, the markets will price it in, and then be done with it. But right now, nobody knows how much is going to be. Next one is going to be 50 basis points, 75 basis points, and things like that. So I think that's what is hitting the markets right now, and will remain like that for the next 3 to 6 months, till the time either the Fed provides the clarity, or inflation shows you signs of clarity, where markets can deduce that, okay, if the Fed target is to take this inflation to 3 to 4%, then they will have to increase by these many basis points. Markets will price it in, and then we'll be done with it. And till the time that happens, I don't see the markets to start rallying like crazy and all that. That clarity has to come. And so yeah, that's the thing. So till the time that comes, we are kind of in a bear market, right? Or in a stagnant market, or stagflation market. Hopefully inflation doesn't move. Stagflation would be really scary. Hopefully inflation starts going down. So we are in the bear markets, and I think the bear market, the biggest benefit or biggest kind of opportunity that we see is that in this market there is less noise, right? The moment bear market has started, you might have seen, even if you keep eyes on crypto, you would have seen the footprint of Polygon going up, because this is the time where we go, all in. We go, we double down on this. And the other part is that we just did a 450 million funding round, and we are very well capitalized, and extremely confident that in the long run we are going to prevail. So this will remove a lot of like, this crazy money throwing, this thing, which was very painful for us also, because we are not in those financial markets. We don't throw this money around like this. But previously, that, many of these other layer one solutions, they were just using their treasury to throw money around and acquire some, basically acquire their way into adoption, which was not organic. And now only you will see that what kind of organic traction is there. And we are already seeing many of the tractions on many of these chains already going out and coming to Polygon, right? So, that Terra ecosystem, almost all of it, is joining Polygon. We are seeing other layer one solutions also, big partners over there trying to move to Polygon. So,
yeah, Sandeep, it was great to have you. One amazing takeaway was that you were able to wear a hat of a builder, then an investor, and then a macro economist. So it was great. We had a lovely chat. So thank you again for coming to the 100X show.
Thank you so much.